Okay. Good news, bad news, I don't know which one you think it is, but we're not doing a final exam.
Never bad news.
That's not bad news?
Not at all.
Not
Okay,
the final.
but the bad news is you're gonna have to listen to me teach.
That's still not that bad.
Okay. Thanks, Carla.
Wait, the whole 2 hours?
Well, probably not the whole 2 hours. I'll probably
I'm
teach
just
for 20 minutes, and then I'll have you guys do some practice problems.
Like a brain break.
Yeah, well, but you're still doing math, and then
Yeah.
take a legit brain break, and then come back and learn some new things, and then practice.
Okay.
So my goal is to go over stuff that you still need help on from the first test. And then I want to meet tomorrow with people from IU, and I want to know what they have to tell me, so then I can tell you guys everything you need to know going forward. And then if we have to use their test, then we will test probably the second week of January with this same test. If I can make my own, we'll probably still test in January, but I'll make my own.
Can we have a Christmas celebration and bring in food or do something?
If you want to bring in food, you can.
Yeah, that's this Friday. You know that, right?
Right after lunch.
Carly, I have a physics
Right
question.
after lunch.
I just thought we should make this calculus class fun.
That's
It's fun because I'm in
I
here.
think it's already fun.
That's more.
Oh, yes.
So the plan is, you can bring, if you want to bring treats, you can. I'm not going to promise I'll have to bring anything.
Well, you don't. There's.
I got up this morning to make taco meat. So the teachers are having, well, not all the teachers. The teachers that eat in the teachers' lounge are having a kitchen, we're having Taco Tuesday. Since,
That's 90.
I don't know, I didn't even come up with it. The teacher asked me to say to the whole group so that I made the meat. That's fine.
Maybe,
What
I don't know.
was I going to say?
Would you have had?
We're talking about and Christmas.
You don't have to do anything.
Okay, so then Friday is your 7th period final, which is this class, okay? We will not do early mornings. Thursday's your last early morning, okay?
And we don't have one tomorrow.
Correct, you don't have one tomorrow. So nothing tomorrow, then come Thursday, then nothing the rest of the year. And then starting second semester, we'll all meet in class together, 7th period.
So, how is the other classes working out? What are,
Depends on if we hire a teacher or not.
Oof.
Oh.
If we hire a long-term sub, then I can go back to just teaching 3 classes a day. If we don't hire a long-term sub, I'll be teaching all the algebra 2s, 2 trigs and calculus. So.
Oof.
What about the 6th and 7th trig though?
The 7th period trig is gonna move. I'm gonna still have an afternoon trig, but it'll be 5th period, and then my other trig will move to 2nd period. So, and then that way it doesn't conflict with Ms. Powell's English class. It will conflict with econ, but some kids will have to do econ on Play-Doh. So, it's not my fault, it's just the way it is, but I think it affects 5 kids. I can't fit it all in there. Okay, so then Friday, during final exam time, I'm gonna get my students started on their final. So you guys will hang out, and then Mr. Urban's gonna come over here and watch them take the final, and then we'll teach in Ms. Draper's room. Okay? That makes sense? Okay, how are we doing on Appendix D homework? Will you be able to turn it in today or tomorrow?
Yes.
I want it Wednesday at the latest. Is there any questions, anything you want me to do? Everybody's good? Okay.
Oh, wait.
Do you have an extra one of those?
These?
I think I lost one.
Yeah.
On 51,
51.
I think Lucas tried to explain it to him, but my brain wasn't understanding. So you gave us the problem and then you simplified it, but you said that was 90% of it. What are we supposed to do after that?
Well, what's tangent plus tangent?
2 tangent.
Okay, so that becomes 2 tangent.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1 minus what's tangent times tangent.
Tangent. So you just rewrite what we.
Well, you're trying to prove that's the right-hand side.
I'm a little confused on why we couldn't just, because it was on our formula sheet.
It is on the formula, but the whole point was proving how that formula existed.
51.
Does that make sense? It's the same thing with what we did on 41. That formula is on our formula sheet, but the whole goal was to prove how that formula existed. Does that make sense?
Does that not look like a 2?
Does.
This way, that did 52 instead of 51.
Well, you get some extra practice
You have
then.
2 whole days to do 51.
Yeah. Well, I wrote down
Well, I guess
51,
one.
but does not look like a 2.
No, it looks like a 1.
Well,
Does it look like a 2 to you?
Yeah.
Obviously. You're trying to do 2.
it's okay.
So if it's what it is exactly, you need to come out with a different way of proving that, like, you have to have some kind of step. You can't just say, on my formula sheet, okay? You have to come up with some step, because there's a reason, like, the only formulas you wouldn't, like, prove are your identities. When you get to the sum and difference formula and the double angle formula and power reducing, etc., those are all proven from previous identities. So you wouldn't have to prove identities, but you could prove formulas. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, but I don't like it. Is that basically it?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, any other questions? Everybody okay? Okay, how many, what example number are we ready for? Did we finish number 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So the first, like, part of your homework, which I haven't solved your homework problems yet, but I would say like it's through like 24 or 31. Those are all like derivatives. So you're using power rule, product rule, quotient rule, all you're doing is finding the derivatives. Then you're going to get to limits. Yikes. And you're going to have to simplify your limits. Okay, your goal is to get it to look like one of the 2, like, rules that I gave you at the very beginning yesterday. So, like, the first rule was the limit, I think I used theta. As theta goes to 0, then sine theta over theta. Okay, that's 1. And then the second rule, did I use theta or did I use x?
Theta.
You used theta. Okay, so those are your 2 rules that can help you out. So like, for instance, like for number 3, I have, I probably could put the trig function up here. Would that be helpful?
A little bit.
Sorry.
There we go.
Ah! It's alright, I'm allowed to make mistakes, right?
Yeah, of course.
Thanks,
She's all for
I
you
do all the
making
time, and
mistakes.
this, I made a mistake in my algebra 2 class. This is probably like the 3rd or 4th day I was teaching them, and they let me get through the whole problem. And they're like, you made them, like, that should have been plus, and you had minus in the problem. Like, stop me! Like, I was like, why did you make? They're like, well, I didn't want to like offend you. So you want me to erase this whole problem because I didn't write it down correctly?
Too late.
Like, no, done. Okay. All right. So if I have a sign, we want to somehow make it look like this. If you have cosines, try to make it look like this, because those will help you. Okay. Now, in order to get this to be 1, I need to have sine of the angle over the angle. So since my angle is 7x, I need the bottom to look like 7x. Okay, now you can't just start like adding random things to it. Okay, now you can multiply, because if you multiply top and bottom, then you can make it work. Okay, so I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 7. Okay, why did I pick 7? Because I need the bottom to be 7x. It already has an x down there, but I need it to have a 7. Now, I know it has a 4, but couldn't we like pull the 4 out? So couldn't I make this look like 1/4? Not 1/4, but this would now become 7/4. Does that make sense what I just did? So I multiplied by 7, so I had 7 sine x, but I want the 7 to be with the x, but those are all multiplied together, So I just put the 4 out there. That's still gonna give me 28x, just like this would give me 28x. Okay, but I know the limit as x goes to 0 of sine theta over theta is 1. So it's the same thing here. These are exactly the same. The limit as x goes to 0 of this is 1. So this would become 7/4 times 1, which is 7/4. Isn't that kind of cool? I think it's kind of cool.
Yep.
It's wrong.
That's funny.
Chloe, why do you have a big box of clothes?
She asked if she could borrow flashlights and they just, I didn't put them back.
They're
That
mine. I
makes
carry
sense.
them with fingers.
She never knows what she's gonna
That's why I was
get.
like, why are you carrying around Clorox box?
Okay,
Because I didn't have internet last night, so it was just probably
now, do you always have to get it to look like this or this? No. If you can get it to be sines and cosines, you should know. These should be also two things you should know. What's the sine of 0?
1.
No.
0.
0. Cosine of 0?
One.
1.
So if you can get them to just be cosine and sine, but why did I have to do that over here? Well, you can't divide by 0, correct?
Right.
Which is why I had to do that here, because there's no way of getting rid of this x. Okay, any ideas what we do on number 4?
Change it to tangent. Maybe.
No.
Maybe not.
No, this x is attached to here. So like it can't be.
What do you think we should do first?
I think that we should make them all cosines and sines.
Why isn't that 2x?
I think you're right.
Because this is x times the cotangent of the angle.
So why can't
Right.
you have an X?
Because you can't, this would be like 2 times the cotangent. This, we don't know
Or
what it
x squared, I
is.
guess. Wouldn't it be x
That's why
squared?
can't you pull that out too?
Because this is, you're finding the cotangent of this multiplying by 2. That's not the same thing as 2 times the angle.
Where?
What's the difference between that and multiplying those by 7? You said it would still be 20,
So you still have
28.
to pull that stuff out.
There's nothing different than that, but you can't take this out of this. You can make it like this.
That's
But
what I was
that's-
talking about.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, but this x is still here. You can't get rid of this x. Just like I couldn't get rid of this one, it's still attached in there.
Yeah.
Because if I could factor it out, we would have just canceled those. You can do this though,
That's
yes.
what I meant.
Okay,
I don't really know if that's helpful.
You can do that, yes.
What parentheses?
Sure.
Parentheses will do the trick.
Yeah, you know it. Okay. So what could I change cotangent into that has sines and cosines?
Cosine over sine.
Where did you see that at? On your paper, or do you just know it?
I just know it.
Okay, it's the quotient identities. So tangent, sine over cosine. Cotangent is cosine over sine. Okay, if you had secant, that's 1 over cosine. Cosecant's 1 over sine. So you're always trying to, anytime you're trying to do things like this, you're always trying to get them back to sines and cosines. Okay? So then this would give me the limit as x goes to 0. I'm gonna rewrite it. Okay, now I know, based on these two things, if I can make this sine x over x, I can make this be 1. So how can I make that sine x over x? Any ideas?
What did you ask? You can multiply by sine.
Not by a sine, but if I want this to become over x. So I can multiply by 1 over x, right? You can always multiply by something.
Oh.
So then I can multiply this one by 1 over x. Does that make sense? Or it's the same thing as dividing by x. Okay, so just like here, I multiplied by 7. Okay? Here, if I multiply by 1 over x, that's going to make this become sine over x. Which I know is what? 1. As the limit goes to 0, it's 1. Okay, now if I distribute, if I multiply this here, multiply this here, this becomes x over x, which is just 1, so this is just cosine. Then my denominator is sine over x. So if I want to find the limit as x goes to 0, I would find the cosine of 0, and then we know this would just become 1. So what is the cosine of 0?
1.
So 1 divided by 1
Did you
is,
put the 0 in because it's x approaches 0?
yes. Yeah. And these are only true as it approaches 0. Okay? So those are the ones that you're working on. I think you're going to struggle, maybe not, I think you're going to struggle more with the limit problems than you are with the derivative problems. So, maybe not, maybe you'll surprise me. Do you guys pack your own lunch or does your mom do it for you? Do you pack yours?
I don't bring one.
Did not bring one
Me
today.
neither, I don't ever bring one. Well, I sometimes do now. Good decision, Declan, to be quiet. That's all I'm proud of them.
Usually Miss Whaley said I can, Miss Whaley said I can't.
Mr. Bramlett was like, he said that he was like working with him too, like at lunch, to like kind of calm down and everything. He kind of was for a while.
You've just got that Christmas spirit, man.
Man, it is hype this year.
I am pretty stoked for Christmas. I don't know about you guys, but
I am too, and I literally have Christmas nails on.
I am not.
Why not?
I am pushing the tangent line to the curve at the given point. Boom, I actually really correctly.
I didn't have time for it.
These are gonna be like come like your favorite problems because they're gonna come up in like every section.
Is this
So-
gonna take a lot of room?
No. I don't think so. This is our last one.
Chloe was complaining to me yesterday about how it always goes in and out of focus.
Probably because I walk. And well,
It takes like 2 seconds and then it comes
Yeah.
back in.
Chloe, if you're watching this, I'm teaching next semester, so you don't even have to watch any videos.
Woohoo!
Chloe with 2 E's.
Chloe.
I noticed when I was watching them too, but it happens for like 2 seconds and then it comes
It's
back.
probably because I'm walking in and out. Yeah. Okay, so what do you want to do if you want to write the equation of the tangent line?
Find the derivative.
Find the derivative.
Great.
Good job. Okay, and it's literally, I feel like it's asked you this every section, and it probably continue. Well, okay, so we just talked about yesterday what the derivatives of the trig functions are. So what is the derivative of sine?
Cosine x.
Cosine x. What's the derivative of cosine?
Negative sine.
Negative sine. So you remember the little trick? The cos are negative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I like tricks to remember things.
What
Okay.
was the one you did last year that,
Coco zero.
Yes.
oh,
I remember that.
Okay, so then what would I do if I want to find the slope of my tangent line?
Plug in 0.
Plug in 0, right? Because 0 is your x value. So, I'm just going to write m for slope, so we know. So I'm going to find cosine of 0 minus the sine of 0. So what's the cosine of 0?
equals 1.
Okay, what's the sine of 0?
0.
Okay, so what's 1 minus 0?
1.
Okay, so how would I write my equation?
5 minus 1 equals 1x.
I'm going to go ahead and do the parentheses, is that okay?
Sure.
1 times x minus 0.
X minus 0.
Okay, then I would distribute, right, and add 1. So I would have y equals x
Minus 0.
This one.
minus 0 plus 1, which would be x plus 1. Everybody good on that?
Remember in elementary school when we always yelled at our teachers for not dotting their i's?
I still
I'm
do
pretty
that.
sure you did that to Mrs. Draper.
Yeah.
It was me.
I think, yeah.
I don't dot
It
all
was
of my
definitely
eyes. Do I
me.
need to start dotting them?
Yeah. You do a pretty good job of it.
The
But
only
like the
thing that I
fun.
think bugs me about
You do a pretty good job of it, and she's missing 5.
I don't
Well, I don't know.
Only 4. 1,
The 2 signs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
gonna
think-
have to work on this, Miss
Holy
Whaley.
cow.
I don't think you do it, but I don't like when
That's not
teachers do different twos.
I don't think I've ever noticed that you don't.
I feel like
Either.
this is gonna sound really
I
crappy,
think sign looks
but I feel
better
like your
without it.
handwriting looks good. It doesn't feel like you're missing the dot.
Okay. I think it just boils down to I'm too lazy.
Yeah, I don't
Because
think
like when
they
you write the
look
words, then you
bad.
gotta go back and dot it.
What if you
Tease.
dot it before?
Dot it while you draw your
No, because then you're like shortening. No, it's just not how I roll, Rudy.
Get with
I
it.
think
Okay.
Think what?
Go ahead.
I
What do you
just,
think?
help it
Like, even
start-
if I
make
write
it
my
start the
name,
next letter.
Like even
Or
when
go
I start
down.
my when I guess I do on my name, I kind of dot it as I go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could.
It's okay. They look good.
Now you're
without
Now you're
it.
gonna think about it.
I'm like overthinking how I write.
Dot it as they go, but like people that like write cursive, like they don't do that because you can't dot it.
Yeah, I do
Oh yeah, that's like
Yeah,
if
but
you-
that's
if you,
print.
Like, wrote cursive a lot, like when you were younger.
Yeah, my signature is just like,
Because
I
like we
wish I
never
wrote
write cursive. Yeah, that's.
My mom, when she goes to write her
Pretty.
signature, she just goes like this for like the G and goes like right around the T
Yeah,
and
G.
then
But I do,
yeah,
but I
the
do
T,
go back and dot
G and her
it.
last name. And she's
Yeah.
like, she goes right around it and
Start
never,
with the G.
no, and it never crosses the T, and it gives me so much anxiety.
Okay, so homework 3-3. That's your homework. That's gonna be due Friday,
This,
or Monday, or Tuesday. I need by then before school
no,
starts.
well, I mean, I guess it's not next Friday.
I thought you were gonna say Thursday.
Oh no,
What's today? Today's Tuesday.
it's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday, Lucas.
Yeah.
No, I would
2 more
prefer
days.
Friday to just like finish class out, be done. But if you're stressed out about it because you have your English paper to write,
Oh my
Yeah. When is that due? That due
Checking
Tuesday?
mine on Thursday.
Monday or
She's checking
Tuesday?
mine tomorrow.
I haven't even started.
okay.
Are
Well,
you in
anyways,
6 hour though?
3-3
yeah.
homework is due by the end of this semester. 3 o'clock. Well, actually, I'm leaving early on Tuesday, so I need to have it by lunch on Tuesday at the latest. Okay?
Like before lunch or the end of lunch?
No, like before I'm leaving before lunch.
Okay.
Can we check that answer?
So I need it by the end
Oh.
of by the end of 5th period.
Well, we have national.
Like I'm literally leaving. Like I have an appointment, so I have to take a half day.
It's a good thing to take a half day if I'm not missing.
I know, but that kind of stinks because I could get a lot done. Good and bad.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm actually finished early.
Yeah.
So you guys can stay in here and work on your homework if you want to. If you have things that you need to do, that's fine. Your appendix D homework, I want no later than tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.